Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session of Stochastics. So, nice to see you all on Saturday morning. So, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Anwar Sabu. I'm a CMT CXP, and I'm also co-founder of Junction Lab Software Solutions Private Limited, a fintech startup. And it's glad to be back at the same place, 3 years back, where we had won the award for top 8 India fintech startups at the hand of Icon Founder Writers. I'm glad to be back at the same place. Brings back to the old memories. And let's highlight the agenda for the today. So the today's agenda, we are obviously going to discuss about the stochastic indicator and oscillator. We discuss the brief background construction, the application and the examples, and also obviously the important points to note during the interpretation. And followed by a Q&A, which we can also take the question as and when. Tushar is my co-host, and he will take your questions and help me to answer them. Okay. So let's begin with our agenda today. As usual, we begin with a round of discussion on with a slide on disclaimers and definitions. None of the content in the presentation should be taken as a recommendation or otherwise. All and any of the content is only for educational purpose. Neither me, Refinitiv, Safety Association, or Junction Lab Software Solutions Private Limited would be liable for any action taken. Okay. So now we are done with the standard disclaimer. Let's start our discussion on stochastics. So we'll begin with a discussion on brief background and construction of stochastics. So we start with the discussion on what basically the classification of indicators is and where does stochastics lie. So if you take the entire range of so many technical indicators out there and start dividing them into different categories, you will find there are two important categories you'll come across. One of them is lagging, the other is leading. There are obviously more such classifications you can make, but these are the two primary classifications you will come across. Lagging indicators are primarily trend following indicators, and leading indicators are primarily momentum indicators. So basically, what I mean by different, how we are classifying them as trend indicators or momentum indicators is basically based on our understanding of trend and momentum. So if you go and check, you will figure out trend represents the velocity of the price on the chart. So we are all tracking price movement, we are all tracking chart, and the velocity of the price movement which we see on the chart is the trend. The momentum represents the acceleration of the price movement, the same. So it's basically the speed at which the trend changes is represented by momentum. So momentum becomes your second degree, measurement of the trend which we are all observing on the price. So now, as a rule in market, the momentum changes direction before price or just along with the price. So that's why momentum measuring indicators are known as leading indicators because they lead the price movement. Okay? So they lead the actual change of trend which happens. Since they lead it, they become leading indicators and they become important enough for most of the technical analysis to be considered. As you see, lagging indicators are trend following indicators. Trend only happens when you see it happening. You would already have at least higher lows formed, at least one higher low formed before that. So any indicator which follows trend will be following the price action, will be lagging the price action. So it is called lagging indicators. So momentum indicators are leading indicators, and these can be measured in different ways. Momentum of the price action can be measured in different ways. Each different way translates into a new indicator. Okay. One of the most popular and oldest momentum indicator is stochastic. Now, momentum can be measured in different ways. By that I mean it can be measured by like change of the rate at speed of close price. It can be measured at which how far close is from the lowest low. It can be also measured from the rate of change of the moving average. It can be also measured a rate of change of typical price. There are various ways people have come across it, but one of the most popular ones and probably the oldest one of momentum indicator is stochastics. Okay, so stochastics was developed by Mr. George C. Lane in the late 1950s. So as you can see, it has a pretty strong history to go back. In his article, Lane describes the origin of the stochastic oscillator as follows. He says very clearly, in our research, our indicators were running all over the place. Basically, what he meant was that when he was calculating different types of indicators, when they were just calculated, their values were not controlled their values used to be so large that he needed almost a wall to plot them. Because remember, they were all plotted manually in those days. So he says, we developed a technique of expressing them as a percentage of 100. Because once you express indicators as a percentage of 100, you obviously limit the indicators to an extent it can move. So their plotting is very simple and you can limit it to a few pages rather than all over the wall. And he continues, he says that we use the alphabet to differentiate one indicator from other. That's like percentage A, percentage B. And they did lot of analysis. And he says, as a result of all the hard work, the 14-hour days, mostly by hand, and no pay days. Basically, they were doing all the analysis by hand, calculations, and not getting paid for all the time. But they did a lot of hard work and a lot of time they took. But they finally decided the most reliable indicator among all these studies was percentage D, or basically a short for percentage of deviation. So let's understand what was this percentage D he was referring to. So if C is your current close price and highest high and lowest low, which is HH and LL, they represent the highest high and lowest of the closing prices over last n period. Then price range over last n period can be represented by the difference between highest high and lowest low, which is HH minus LL. Then deviation of close, if you are measuring that, can be measured by dividing close minus the lowest low to the range, which is highest high minus lowest. So basically what you have done is, you have taken close minus lowest low, you have measured that, divided that by range. So this number, as you can see, will always be a number which is less than 1. Because as you can see, close can never be higher than highest high. So close minus lowest low, when you divide by highest high minus lowest low, by the range, you will get a number, it will always be less than 1. So when since this number will always be less than 1, it can be converted into a percentage by multiply by 100. And when you do that, he came across the first stochastic variable and he referred to them as percentage K, which later on came to be referred as percentage K fast, which we will note why it's called fast. So percentage K fast is basically equal to lowest minus lowest low divided by highest high minus lowest low into 100. So once you get this variable, you have a percentage K fast. Now, as you can visualize from this formula, the percentage K will vary as rapidly just how those price vary. So it came to be known as fast stochastic because it will vary rapidly, or percentage K fast. So, but the real valuable stochastic variable emerged after further smoothing this percentage K fast by taking its average, and that came to be known as percentage D fast. So percentage D fast is equal to a 3-day average of percentage K fast. So if your percentage K fast was varying rapidly, percentage D fast is a smoother version of percentage K fast, and this came to be known as percentage D, and percentage D variable name came from this. So Lane was very clear from the beginning that the percentage D which he discovered or developed is the most reliable indicator. And in later version of TS software, since they have to name each of these variable as a new name, they renamed the percentage D fast as percentage K slow, and this became the slow stochastic because, as you can see, this was average and this was not as fast as the fast stochastic. This became the slow stochastic. So what you use today, what everybody refers to as stochastic indicator, is the slow stochastic, and it is the percentage K slow, which is also same as percentage D fast. Okay. So let's understand the standard formulation of stochastic indicator. The stochastic indicator, percentage K slow, is equal to 3-day average of close minus lowest low divided by highest high minus lowest low into 100, a percentage number. A 3-day average becomes percentage K slow, and the percentage D slow is a further 3-day average of percentage K slow. So now you have a percentage K slow, which you remember is same as percentage D fast, which is your slow stochastic, which is your standard stochastic. It's an average, and it itself is further average to make a further line called percentage D slow. So your stochastic indicator, as you will see on the chart, will appear as a 2-line indicator. The first indicator, the first line, which is the faster line, will be percentage K slow, and the slower line, which you see, is called percentage D. So you have percentage K, percentage D for every stochastic. Now, represented by three parameters: stochastic, N, N1, N2. Okay, in the bracket. So you will see N represents the loop back period, N1 represents the smoothing period for percentage case loop, and N2 represents the smoothing period for the percentage case. And when you say loop back period, N, that represents a number of candles or number of periods or number of bars which you are using it to measure the stochastic. So as you can see, standard and most common parameters used are 1433, but in case you need to change your N for some reason, which we could, it will only change the sensitivity of stochastic. So if you change N to say 5, it will increase the stochastic sensitivity much higher. So probably you will use for those charts which are more sensitive, like your smaller charts, intraday time frame charts and all. So probably you can look to change the stochastic parameter smaller when you want to increase the sensitivity, or keep it larger when you want to decrease the sensitivity. The standard parameters used for almost all your daily charts and all that is 1433, which is perfectly suited enough for most of your understanding. So now since we have understood, let's summarize our understanding so far. Summarizing our understanding so far, stochastic oscillator is an indicator which determines momentum by measuring the relationship between the security's closing price and its price range high side over low so over a predetermined period of time. As a bounded oscillator, stochastic ranges from 0 to 100. So no matter how fast the security advances or declines, the stochastic oscillator will always fluctuate within this range. So by adding stochastics on your chart, you get a visual feel of how the momentum is behaving. Okay. So basically, it's a momentum indicator. You are using a relationship between close price and the range over a predetermined period of time n. And since it's a bounded oscillator, it will always range between 0 to 100. Stochastic can never go below 0 because it cannot go below lowest low, and it can never go over 100 because it cannot go over high side. The close cannot go over high side. So it ranges always between 0 to 100. No matter how fast the security advances decline, stochastic oscillator will always fluctuate within this. So by adding stochastic on a chart, you get a visual feel of how momentum is behaving, and you can compare this with different periods of time to see how the momentum has been earlier, how the momentum is right now, and what you are also seeing momentum in price on the chart is now basically converted into a numerical number plotted on your chart at the bottom, which shows you visual feel. So let's now take you to the chart to show you what a stochastic variable will look like, or how it will plot it. So here we are on a Icon app, and we are on this chart. I've opened the Nifty index chart, as you can see from the photo left. So as you see in the Nifty index chart, I have marked areas of where you can see different variables in the chart. So before that, let me just go and tell you one more thing. So when we started applying stochastic on the chart, there are certain, by doing this application on the chart, so you can see stochastic, and stochastic is representing the momentum of the price on the chart, and you can see there are two lines on the chart, the green line, red line and green line. The red line represents the source percentage K, and the green line represents the percentage P. So let me go back and give you an explanation on the application. So now here is the most classical interpretation of stochastic. Stochastic value 20 marks the potential oversold threshold, and stochastic value 80 marks potential overbought threshold. So what do we mean by oversold and overbought? Oversold basically means very strong positive momentum, and overbought basically means very strong overbought means very strong positive momentum, and oversold basically means very strong negative momentum. So basically, by marking these two, you are marking areas on the chart where you expect where the stock has gone into very strong positive momentum or negative momentum. Okay. So let's go and check what we are trying to say. So before that, if I go and take you to the chart, so stochastic crossing, these are the initial applications or understanding which you will come. Stochastic crossing above 20 is a potential bearish signal from oversold zone, and stochastic crossing below 80 is a potential bearish reversal signal from overbought. So where is this coming from? This is coming from this idea that oversold is basically a stock has come to because the stochastic has been falling and the price has been falling lower. Lows has been very close to lower lows. So now it has entered into oversold area. Since it's entered into a very strong negative momentum, expectation of a bullish reversal is there. So When it crosses above 20, becomes your potentially bullish reversal signal. Similarly, the stochastic crosses below 80, crossing above 20 is potentially bullish reversal. Similarly, when stochastic is above 80, it's basically an overbought zone. So you expect a very strong positive momentum there, but you expect price to correct. Because you expect price to correct, you use crossing below 80 as a potential bearish reversal signal from overbought zone. So these are the two first signals you will come across. Then you will come across the next signal. Another potential bullish signal which you will come across is stochastic crossing above its moving average. So basically, percentage K crossing above percentage. Because remember, percentage D is a moving average of percentage K. So when stochastic crosses above its moving average, percentage D, it basically marks a potentially bullish signal. Similarly, another potential bearish signal is stochastic crossing below its moving average. Basically, percentage K crossing below percentage D. So when this happens, basically you are expecting momentum to be declining below what it has been moving at a point and becomes a potentially bearish signal. So when you apply this on the chart, this is how it will look on the chart. Here is the area where I marked. This area has been marked very clearly, and you can see the stochastic going above 20. So you can also do an annotation and you can mark for this area. So you can write here. And then I can say, so here I can say stock going above. From oversold flow. So this becomes your signal, and similarly I can do another annotation. Going below. Similarly, I can mark two more other concentrations for the other two signals. So here I am marking an annotation which is basically say stop A. Similarly, I can mark another one where you can say add stop A. So you can see, so I marked the four annotations among the four use cases. So like this, you can come across different use cases of indications generated by stochastic. So let's see another very interesting interpretation of stochastic. Another potential signal is generated when divergence happens between price and stochastic. Now this is a very interesting phenomenon which happens mainly with the momentum indicator. So basically divergence forms when a new high and low in price is not confirmed by a new high or low in stochastic oscillator. Which basically means price is making a new high, but the momentum is not making a new high, which is represented by stochastic. It's not making a new high. Normally what we expect, a new high or a new low should be confirmed by a new high or low in momentum also. So price high and momentum high should be in line. But if they are not happening, if a new high in price is not confirmed by a new high in stochastic, or a new low in price is not confirmed by a new low in stochastic, that means stochastic is probably making a higher low. Then you are seeing what is known as divergence. And how this works? This is how it will look. So bullish divergence forms when price makes a lower low and stochastic makes a higher low. Similarly, this will happen. Now there is a mistake here in the presentation. This is price and this is stochastic. So basically price is making a lower low and stochastic is making a higher. Okay, so this shows basically less downside momentum, marking a potentially bullish reversal. Because here there is a printing mistake. The price is this stochastic. Okay, so price is representing this. So price is making a lower low, but stochastic is making higher low, which means there is less downside momentum happening, marking a potentially bullish reversal. So similarly, you take a bearish example. Bearish example will go like this: price is making a higher high, but stochastic is making a lower. So now stochastic is making a lower high is representing when price is making a next new high. Stochastic is not making a new high; it's showing less upside momentum, marking a potential bearish reversal. That means there is a resistance here, which is not very clear, because if you look at the price in either case, the trend is still intact. Price is still making higher high, or price is still making a lower low, so trend is intact. This is marking an earlier signal of a change of momentum happening, in which is marking a leading signal that a potential bearish reversal. So now if I apply this on the chart, you can see this. So there are various classical examples. There is a which has happened in the past. Let me show you. I'll take you one of the examples where a very or a long time low was formed on the chart, and it was clearly highlighted by the potential. One of the classic examples is, if you can see here, this is the line to line segment to show this. This is, you can see price is marking a lower low. But the price stochastic is very higher. This is a very classical bullish divergence which was observed when Nifty was at 6,900, and you can clearly see it was a new low was formed on this day, but was not confirmed by the momentum, and soon later on the price recovered and we went to a altogether new market out. So there are various things. There similarly, I can show you some negative divergence examples as well, which has happened on the chart. Here is another example of a negative divergence happening. Line segment, and then it's a but you can see divergence stochastic is marking a lower high, the price marking higher high, marking a bearish divergence on the price. So like that, there are various examples which you will come across where you will see that this divergence, because this is pretty much a regular phenomena on a for bearish and bullish. Okay. So but when you are applying all these signals, there are certain precaution needs to be taken, certain interpretation needs to be done, and those are the important points which I am going to cover. Okay. So there are certain important points to be done. Okay. And the first important point to be noted is they are all potential signals. Okay. So just a second.